Hey guys, MCU Collects here with another figure review. Next up is the Medicom Toy Mafex number 243. We have Zack Snyder's Justice League, The Flash, Barry Allen. So this is kind of a reissue, or not a reissue. The figure has been released before. This is not a quote-unquote reissue. This is the Snyder cut, the Snyder version of Justice League, not the theatrical release. And then Medicom Mafex has made a lot of improvements since then, like skin tone-wise. I think this looks better. So I don't know exactly what the original one, what accessories it came with and all of that. I'm just going to focus on this as if it were brand new. It's brand new to me. So I won't be able to really compare to what the original release has. I do have Batman, I have Cyborg, and I have Superman. I don't have an Aquaman, so if anybody has an Aquaman either complete or unopened and looking for a trade or something, hit me up. But we have Zack Snyder's Justice League here. For some reason, you can't really see the JL logo in the background. I'm not sure why that's the case. And then this one, it's funny because this gets the new DC logo. If you noticed before with Superman came out, what did the Batman have? Yeah, Batman, this was a pretty recent one too, had that older DC logo. So the Flash gets that updated logo, so that's kind of cool there. So let's go ahead and check it out. Looking at the back of the package, you can see we have the figure, a couple of different head sculpts. We got the Barry Allen, Ezra Miller head sculpt in there. We get some Speed Force lightning effect type pieces, and he comes with one batarang, which is, call back to the movie where Bruce Wayne throws his batarang at the Flash and he's able to catch it. But big shout out and thank you to Big Bad Toy Store for sending this over my way so I can review for you guys. It is in stock right now. Link in the video description below if you're looking to add the Flash to your collection, as well as Cyborg, Batman, and Superman. Unfortunately, Aquaman is the one that is sold out. That's why I'm looking to pick one up if you guys know of anyone looking to let one go. But anyway, let's go ahead and open this up. Let's take a look at the Flash. Alright, so here's the Flash, and one thing that's cool, I went ahead and took some pictures. I don't always take pictures beforehand. Sometimes I do it in the middle, sometimes I do it after. I kind of did a few in the beginning, and I did some cool stuff where, I had it moving, and it actually looks blurred, and it looks like he's in the Speed Force. So, some fun stuff. This is a pretty cool figure. Again, I don't have the original release of the Mafex, so I couldn't tell you what the differences are now between then, if it's a completely new body, if it's a reused body. I like to think that it's probably a reused body and that they didn't really make any improvements other than probably paint applications and things like that. I couldn't tell you if the accessories are the same or any of that. So, but looking at the figure, it's kind of fun. We get these Speed Force lightning effect pieces that you can kind of put onto the figure. And there's no set way to do it. You can kind of do it however you want. I will say the two wrist ones are kind of the constant ones that you're always going to put on the wrist because they actually go around the wrist peg, so you just take the hands off and then put it around in there, and then you can get it. But it's a whole lot of fun when you could do that because that's how it looked, in the movie. The Flash movie, which wasn't a great movie, that figure is getting that movie is getting a Mafex figure, and I think it's going to come with yellow lightning because it's going to be different because of his suit and things like that. So that's why this one is the blue lightning, which was what we had in the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League. And again, I like it. I think it's pretty cool. Looking at the accessories, besides, the Speed Force effects, we do get a batarang. This is the Batfleck style batarang. That is cool there. We get a couple of additional head sculpts. So we get a smiling Ezra Miller head sculpt in the mask, which, it's kind of goofy looking. I don't think it has a very good likeness. The cheeks, I think they made him a little too chubby cheeked in there. And then we get the Barry Allen Ezra Miller head sculpt, and I think it's okay. I do see some Ezra Miller likeness in there. It's not perfect, but I don't think it's completely terrible either. I think certain angles I see the likeness a little bit more. So I think it's just okay. In terms of hands, we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 extra sets of hands. So on the figure, you've got fists, and then we get wide open hands, as you can see here. And then we get the sprinting hands, as you can see here, kind of the straight out hands. We get open, relaxed hands there. Oh, looks like I'm missing some paint on one finger there. And then we get the grip hands. And these grip hands, I don't know what other purpose these may have other than to grip onto the batarangs. The batarang, single batarang. And it's not even a super firm grip on there, but he can hold the batarang. And Barry was not in his suit when he caught Bruce's batarang, so that, I don't know if that really works. And then a couple of ones here. So we kind of have one finger out. This is kind of Ezra Miller's Barry Allen Flash had a very odd running stance. I mean, it's odd to me. I mean, runners and people that do distance running or sprinting, you guys will have to let me know if his kind of stance made sense. I think they would have done some research into it. But I feel like kind of how he kind of gets ready and sets up, that's kind of how his hands are. And then similar to here with the two finger, I think this is when he's already sprinting and he's in the Speed Force and he uses it to like push stuff or whatever. So I think at high speeds he needs a little bit more of a delicate touch, so that's when he kind of uses the two fingers. So those are all the hands that we got there, and again we have the extra heads. And then the Speed Force effect pieces, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different pieces, and I can't tell you if every single one of them is really in the right spot or not, other than, again, the wrists ones. I have one that's kind of wrapped around his head based on the pictures, the official promo images from Mafex. This one does show that it's kind of wrapped around his head, so if he's already in the Speed Force, it kind of wraps around, as you can see there. So you got that one there. And then here I have this one on his left arm bicep, as the lightning trail kind of goes back, and it just wraps around the arm, so you could just kind of pull it off there. So we have that one. And then, of course, the two wrist ones. Again, these ones specifically made because, as you can see, they are made to go around the wrist peg, so we got that there. Put this hand back on before I lose that because it's so small. Then same thing here on the right hand. We get that same one, but kind of opposite, that goes around the wrist peg in there. And then here we have another arm one that this one just kind of wraps around the bicep. You could probably do this on the leg too if that's what you wanted to do. Again, I think it's kind of up to your interpretation, and it may actually make more sense on a leg now that I look at it. But you know, I had it wrapped around his bicep, so you can change that if you want. I have this one on the back of his right leg because it's a little bit more open, so it seems a little big for an arm, although I'm sure it would still work. I mean, yeah, it could. So again, you can kind of put them where you want them to be. And then here on his left leg, I have this one wrapped around his leg, as you can see there with the Speed Force lightning kind of going up. It just wraps around. And then these two here probably have to go on the legs because they're you know, a larger opening in there. So that's kind of how I had them there. So you can kind of move them around between the legs if you want. To me, it just kind of seems like it makes more sense to, you know, to get that trail to kind of go outwards when you have it wrapped around the leg kind of thing. But again, you get to play with it and see, you know, which way really makes the most sense for you. But now let's go ahead and get in for a closer look so we could see those two different head sculpts and then take a look at the suit. Okay, so we're taking a look at the different head sculpts. Here's kind of the smiling one here. And again, this looks a little goofy to me. Cheeks look a little too chubby. Don't really see the Ezra Miller likeness in there. It makes sense that we would have a smiling head sculpt as he was kind of, you know, a goofy character. But let's swap out that head. This one is connected at the neck, so you got to be able to separate the head and the neck, like so. Let's see, I'm going to put this neck back on the body, and then we'll get the standard head sculpt mask so you guys can get a close look. And I can kind of see Ezra Miller in there. It's not perfect. They didn't, you know, he's got a really defined cheekbones and jawline, so you can kind of see they put in some shading into his cheekbones in there. But then we also get the unmasked head sculpt, so it comes with the whole separate neck, so his neck is kind of exposed. Too bad we don't get like the unmasked part that would either hang down or he could carry or anything like that. And so here's the Ezra Miller Barry Allen. And to me, from what I could see in pictures, the skin tone looks better than what they did before. And I think, at least, you know, I don't even recall if the other old one came with a fully unmasked head sculpt. I just think on this one, the masked head sculpts, the skin tone looks better, and then, you know, you get a full look skin tone wise here. And I think it looks pretty good, not perfect, but okay, it's cool to have. I don't think it's necessary because I mean, I'm sure at times in the movie he did have the mask off. It probably wasn't as often though. So for the rest of the video, we're just going to keep this head sculpt on there, the one that came on the figure out of the package, because that is the best one, and that's the one that really makes the most sense. Looking at the figure, we get a mixture of a couple of different colors in here. Some of the armor pieces have a shinier red, which is really cool. Then you have this like silver wiring that holds a lot of the pieces together. I forget what it was, but it was announced in something somewhere like Barry's suit is made out of certain type of material that they use in spaceships. I think it was even mentioned in the movie or whatever, because he a lot of friction, so it can't generate heat and tear and catch on fire and things like that. So you get some armor pieces again that have a shinier red in there, and then you kind of have some textured pieces that are a darker red into a brown color, into a black color, a little bit of gold trim in some areas like here at the elbow, on the hips, the knee, just below the knees, the top of the boots, and then on the feet, and then at the bottom of the feet also get these lightning bolts in there, and of course the Flash logo there in the front. So yeah, that all looks pretty good. The shoulder pads are these adjustable pieces that kind of move with that arm, which is good, and then can kind of go up and just doesn't get in the way. So it's nice how they did that. So there we go. That is the Flash suit. To me, that looks pretty good. I will do a comparison with the Mezco Toys 112 Collective Flash. Size-wise, that thing is probably going to be huge compared to this, but that's the only other Flash figure I have to be able to do some kind of comparison, so we'll see how that one and this one look together. But now, let's go ahead and jump on over into the articulation. Okay, so Flash's articulation, the neck itself and the head can move back, so you can get the Flash to look up that much, which works out really well. There, and then looking down, he can look down all the way, so a very natural looking movement too, which is good. You get some really good pivot going on in the neck, and then you could twist the neck on the head on the neck, and then you can move the neck itself as well. So good articulation there. The arm you can get to go straight on out like so, which is good. You get a full rotation in there, and again, as I mentioned, the shoulder pad can move with that arm, which is good. There is a butterfly joint in there, which allows some good circular motion in there, so you could drop the shoulder down a bit, you could raise it up, you can come forward for some really good crossbody there, which is awesome. And then getting the arm to go back, you can do it a little bit. It's not a huge amount, but you can get that arm to go back. You have an upper bicep swivel in there. Double jointed elbow gives you that much bend at the elbow, so quite nice. Wrists are on a ball peg, so you could swivel and hinge any which way you need. We got a diaphragm cut in there and a ball joint at the waist, so using both, you can get Flash to tilt to his left that much there. You can get Flash to tilt to his right that much there, so that is really good movement. And I love the sculpt, really maintains, and we don't have any gaps or anything like that, and it just looks really good overall. But here's where it's going to be a little lacking, and I just pulled that apart. Let me snap that back on. Actually, let's talk about this, because I pulled it off. That's the second time I pulled it off. I pulled it off camera one time. That's a very small ball peg in there to hold the body together. Like, it holds up pretty well, but like when you start trying to lean in back a little too much, it's going to pop out. So leaning back is only that much. That's not a huge amount. And then coming forward is that much there. That's actually a little bit more than I thought it was going to be. So not terrible, but also not great at the same time. But, you know, if you work the hips in, you can get them to crunch down. So it's pretty good. You get a swivel at that diaphragm, and then you can also swivel at the waist, which is good. You got the drop down hip, so you could see you could drop down the leg that much there. Legs go out that far apart. He can kick forward that far, so that is really good there. The leg goes back only a little bit more when you do the drop down hip. We get a pretty good thigh swivel turn in there that I would say is probably more than we get with a lot of Mafex figures. So that is pretty good how much twist and turn you can get in there. Double jointed knee gives you that much bend there at the knee, so quite nice. Foot, you could swivel around that foot. You can hinge down a little bit. You can hinge up a little bit, and then you have toe articulation in there. And you can get some ankle pivot. It's a little restricted because the foot really goes around that whole leg piece in there, but you can still get some decent pivot, so that is pretty good. So all in all, in my opinion, really good articulation. I think the best part about it is we don't end up with gaps or anything like that. Sometimes with Mafex figures, when you tilt to the side, you can see a big old huge gap at the hip. We don't see that. Or if you lean back, you could see a huge gap here from the torso to the hip. There's a tiny bit, but it's not distracting in any way, which is good. So the articulation here just feels very natural, which is great. And, you know, that's really, you know, kind of what we would want out of it. So that's what's really good. You know, if you get into some running poses, I have to see kind of, again, because he had like a really weird like running stance, like when he's getting ready. I'll have to take a look and see if I can kind of replicate that. Okay, so taking a look at our side-by-side comparisons, here we have Batman. You can see Ben Affleck. Batman is bigger than Ezra Miller. Cyborg is taller as well. So Ezra Miller, I don't know if Ezra Miller is actually pretty short. I don't know his actual height or anything. Probably average height. You know, but you got like Ben Affleck, and I think Cavill's pretty tall as well. So let's throw in Superman right here. And so here we have our Snyder Cut Justice League. I believe Medicom has revealed Wonder Woman and some other figures and stuff. I can't wait to get more. Right now, which one's up for pre-order right now? I think Tactical Suit Batman is up for pre-order right now, still as part of the Snyder Cut. And I have to look what else there is, but Cyborg, Superman, and Batman are all in stock at Big Bad Toy Store right now, and I'll have a pre-order link to the Batman figure that is available, because I think it's the Tactical Suit that's up for pre-order right now, and that one looks really good. I'm actually very excited for that. Oh, and the Nightmare Batman is up for pre-order, and then the Nightmare Superman is up for pre-order, and then the Nightmare Joker is all up for pre-order. So don't know when exactly those are coming out. So those are all the ones that are up for pre-order, and I'm just missing the Aquaman. So again, if you know anybody that has an extra Mafex Aquaman, the Snyder Cut version, of course, that's number 209. If anybody's got an extra one of those, hit me up and we'll make a deal, maybe on a trade or something. But yeah, so here we go. This is the Snyder Cut Justice League that I have so far. I will be adding those others as they release, and then maybe one day I'll get my hands on the Aquaman. But looking at these figures, as good as the Flash is, and he's way better than the Mezco one, which again, I will do a side-by-side comparison next, but yeesh. Not that this one's bad, but it's just difficult to compare the two. Like, this is great. This is not great. This is pretty good for a Mezco figure, but compared to the Mafex, because of the two different styles, you know, this one has the soft goods and stuff, so there's a rubber overlay that makes the body a little too bulky. So things like that. The Mafex just looks proportionately so much better. But if I look at my favorites among these, Batman's my favorite right here. So this Batman is really good. I really like it. Flash may actually be my second favorite of this bunch. I think I'm going to go Batman, Flash, Cyborg, and then Superman. Not that Superman's bad, but the Cyborg's just crazy. The sculpted detail, he's got die-cast feet, he's got a bunch of extra accessories and stuff. So he wins over Superman just because of everything that he comes with. But yeah, Flash is pretty good, but he can't beat out Batman. Batman's just too good. Okay, so here is the Mezco Toys 112 Collective, the Justice League 3-pack, the Snyder Cut, which is 50% off at Big Bad Toy Store right now, by the way, guys. So it's like $130. You get Flash, Superman, and Batman. Definitely worth the $130 because even at full price, it was still pretty good based on, you know, pricing of Mezco figures. It was right kind of where it's supposed to be. But $130 for Batman, Superman, and Flash, I think that's a hell of a steal. Link in the video description below if you want to order that 3-pack. But also, you guys, I'll have a link to the review that I did on that 3-pack. But like this this Mezco Flash is really good for a Mezco figure because it does a rubber overlay over soft goods, which is the whole, you know, Mezco thing. But like the Mafex thing, the body just looks so much more proportionate because you don't have to have these layers on top of each other. So that's the only downfall when comparing these two. So it just kind of throws it off. Like, and then, you know, Flash's head might look a little bit big there. They're similar in height, which is actually kind of crazy because I would have thought Mafex tends to be a little bit smaller. No, you know what? Comic-wise, SH Figure Arts is smaller. Mafex, not always the case, but usually Mezco is just a lot bigger. I guess would be the correct way of saying that. And then there's just some differences, like the gold is a darker, more dull gold, whereas like on these boots you get a bright yellow versus, you know, we got a gold here. I feel like the gold is probably a little bit more accurate. Why the boots got that bright yellow treatment on the Mafex, I'm not really sure. And they sculpted the lightning bolts on the bottom of the feet for Mezco, but they didn't paint them. So there's the comparison there. I'm liking the Mafex quite a bit more. But if Mezco is your thing, this one is good, and I think you'll be happy with it. And again, at 50% off, that's the way to do it. So links in the video description below if you're looking to get just the Mafex Flash, or if you want that Mezco Toys 112 Collective 3-pack of the Justice League. Okay, so that is my review of the Ezra Miller Flash figure from the Snyder Cut of Justice League, officially titled Zack Snyder's Justice League from HBO Max. I actually enjoyed that version of the movie. Yes, it's long. Yes, it's not perfect. But overall, it was much more enjoyable than Justice League, where it fills in the gaps and the story makes a little bit more sense and there's less of the goofiness that was in the movie. Not that I hated the theatrical version. I enjoyed that one as well. But the Justice League Snyder Cut, to me, was a better, more fully fleshed out story that made a little bit more sense. And I enjoyed it. So I'm happy to get the figures. That's why, I wanted to get the Mezco set. And now I'm getting the Mafex ones, minus Aquaman. Again, if you know anybody, help me out. But I'm happy with this Flash figure. You guys let me know what you guys think of it down in the comments below. If you're looking to pick this guy up, he is in stock right now at BigBadToyStore.com. So link in the video description below if you're looking to pick him up, or if you're looking to pick up that Mezco set as well. Head over to the links in the video description at Big Bad Toy Store. If you guys like this video, please do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you haven't already done so, and as always, thank you for watching.